On Friday, September 5th, 2025, 6 Vermont mayors crossed the border into Canada. Their destination was the city of Granby in the province of Quebec. The purpose of the visit was a cross-border summit with Canadian counterparts. The event took place inside Granby City Hall. The meeting began with a press conference at 11:30 a.m. Mayors from Burlington, Barre, Montpelier, Newport, Rutland, and St. Albans represented Vermont. Quebec's side was led by UMQ President Guillaume Tremblay. Mayors from Granby, Varennes, and Brossard also participated. The gathering was organized under the Vermont Mayors Coalition banner. Their Quebec partners came through the Union of Quebec Municipalities. The backdrop of the meeting was rising economic uncertainty. Trade dispute between Washington and Ottawa had caused concern. Local businesses in Vermont were already feeling the strain. Tourism numbers had sharply declined in recent months. Burlington Mayor Emma Mulvaney-Stanak was vocal about these issues. She said her city had seen a 30% drop in campground bookings. She added that the Burlington airport had lost 10% of its Canadian travelers. The mayor emphasized that this was not just about money. It was about neighborly ties and shared history. She described the summit as extending the olive branch. Newport Mayor Rick Ufford-Chase also spoke at length. He criticized the harsh tone of U.S. federal rhetoric. He said Canadian friends should know Vermonters still care deeply. His comments drew nods from the Quebec mayors. Rutland Mayor Mike Doinges highlighted trade losses in lumber. He added that the steel sector was equally damaged. For a city like Rutland, those sectors are vital. He warned that local jobs were at risk. Barre Mayor Tom Lauzon offered a practical idea. He proposed a passport coupon to encourage Canadian shopping in Vermont. The coupons would work like discounts in small stores. Montpelier officials quickly joined that initiative. The mayors understood the value of symbolic gestures. Burlington suggested renaming Church Street Marketplace as Rue Canada. This temporary move would highlight friendship. Quebec delegates welcomed the idea warmly. Brossard Mayor Doreen Assad raised another concern. She noted businesses were delaying spending decisions. The confusion stemmed from tariff disputes. Several cases were tied up in the Supreme Court. She said this climate of uncertainty hurt everyone. Still, she praised Vermont leaders for showing up. St. Albans Mayor Tim Smith shared a personal story. He recalled a recent family trip to Montreal. He spoke about hospitality and cultural richness. His message was clear: tourism flows both ways. Vermont needs Quebec visitors, and Quebec needs Vermonters. Mayor Mulvaney-Stanak expanded on that thought. She proposed a shared tourism day. Businesses in downtown Burlington could host joint events. The Canadian mayors said they would consider it. Granby Mayor Pascal Bonin welcomed everyone warmly. He stressed the importance of municipal cooperation. He said what affects one side always affects the other. The Vermont and Quebec delegations then exchanged symbolic gifts. Vermont mayors presented maple syrup bottles. Quebec mayors responded with locally made cheeses. The exchange was met with applause and laughter. Despite the friendly tone, the mood was serious. Both sides knew federal policies would not change overnight. The tariffs on steel and aluminum were not in their hands. Yet the mayors believed in the power of local leadership. They argued that cities could still set the tone. They could model goodwill even when national leaders fought. This was the essence of municipal diplomacy. UMQ President Guillaume Tremblay summarized the spirit. He said long-lasting ties are built at the community level. He promised that Quebec cities would stand with Vermont. Vermont Coalition agreed to deepen collaboration. They pledged to work with chambers of commerce. They also promised to raise their concerns with governors and premiers. The meeting was not about immediate deals. It was about solidarity and long-term trust. The press covering the event noted this clearly. Symbolism was the main currency of the day. But sometimes, symbolism is exactly what is needed. The presence of mayors themselves was a strong message. It showed that local communities were not divided. Instead, they were eager to keep bridges open. The summit concluded with a joint lunch. Local dishes from both sides of the border were served. Canadian poutine and Vermont cheddar were crowd favorites. Conversations continued informally around the tables. Officials swapped contacts and promised follow-ups. The Burlington mayor invited Quebec leaders to visit Vermont soon. Newport's mayor suggested hosting the next summit in his city. Plans began to form for an event in mid-September. The Vermont Agency of Commerce backed the idea. A tentative date was set for Newport on September 18th. Canadian officials said they would gladly attend. Governor Phil Scott also entered the discussion. He announced plans to visit New Brunswick. There, he would meet with Canadian parliamentarians. The aim was to extend the municipal spirit to higher levels. By the end of the day, both sides felt optimistic. The problems were real, but so was the determination. Vermont and Quebec had proven they could stand together. Even if Washington and Ottawa clashed, local leaders could cooperate. The summit was covered by major Vermont and Quebec outlets. Headlines praised the mayors for practical diplomacy. Citizens on both sides expressed relief at the goodwill. Social media reactions were overwhelmingly positive. Some Canadians said they now plan to visit Vermont soon. Others from Vermont shared memories of past Quebec trips. Business owners in border towns welcomed the initiatives. They hoped the coupon program would boost weekend sales. Tourism bureaus promised to advertise the joint events. Economic analysts called the meeting small but significant. The day ended with a group photo on the Granby steps. Smiling mayors stood side by side, hands joined across the border spirit.